Shadowhawk.
Hello.
So yeah, DC Dome, Fandom. I is that what it's called?
Yeah, Fandom, the DC Fandom, which was a 24-hour presentation. It seemed like every hour that I wasn't on Twitter or Instagram, that it was always something new that was being updated.
Yeah, like the new Batman movie coming out next year. I'm really digging that movie so far though. Just want to
I
put that.
am too, though. I'm really looking forward to seeing that because I don't really think we've had a Batman movie like this yet, and so it makes me very interested to see what Matt Reeves has in store because I think he's a great director, and while I don't always taste in comic books, I'll at least be willing to give him the benefit of the doubt that he'll do something really special.
Yeah,
And Robert Pattinson looks like he's doing that. He definitely looks like he's suited for this, and clearly was informed about how to play this.
yeah. Aside, the hair aside, the goofy hair aside, but yeah.
I never say die.
I've seen some people complain about how we're getting yet another gritty Batman movie.
I mean, I just think that really, because as you said on Twitter, and it's something I'm more in agreement of. Yes, I'm aware of Batman's more colorful side more when he started, and even when it came to areas like the Gold and Silver Age of comics. But I just feel as if as time has gone on, Batman as a character and everything that he's in is better suited with a more gritty kind of feeling, rather than something that's more whimsical. Whereas I feel that's closer to more of Superman's territory than anything else.
Yeah, and here's another thing about the Silver Age. You know what started the Silver Age? Reactionary political bullshit caused by this professor and his seduction of the Innocence book.
I was aware of the comics code such, which was basically, which was like very hard on like how women could be depicted. It effectively stopped Catwoman from appearing for many years, and it wasn't until the '66 show that she would gain prominence again. I know of like some
and it
stuff
turned
like
and it turned female characters like Lois Lane into housewives. It comes with all of all tropes that solidify comic books, but yeah.
Again, I think that's always one of the downsides when you end up being too attached to the history of how something was, is that it can also make it to where changing becomes really difficult to do, so that way it doesn't seem quote-unquote disrespectful to the medium. When a medium is always an ever-evolving thing, and characters are much the same way, how characters are now usually aren't what they are, what they started usually isn't how they still remain the same if they're still managing to be relevant 50, 60, 70 years later.
Yeah, Batman can have fantastical elements, but I still do think that that the like dark and gritty stuff suits him more. It's
considering that it deals with corrupted police departments, very criminals who go to very extreme lengths, amongst a whole other, just even through just saying it, pretty dark things, it would definitely be kind of having tonal issues if you're also still portraying him as this happy-go-lucky person like he was in the Gold and Silver Age.
Yeah.
I think it's just because often when they think dark and gritty, they only think of what happens when you push it to its full extent, though. Like basically, on the edge of violence.
Like the
Not
Dark
even
Age
like the
of
Dark
comic books.
Knight, but more of Dark Knight Returns, really.
I was thinking like the Dark Age of comic books.
The 90s, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just.
It's just also what I prefer as well, because I know who you're going to refer to, and say for that, and yeah, that's why, as I always say, that I'm always mixed feelings on plenty of his takes, and that ends up being one of them, because, and I agree, I agree with what one of the people said in Discord. We've certainly come a long way, where it was initially where anything that even remotely involved the '66 show was something that you should never ever do, and now we've looped back around, that's like, can we do stuff like that again?
Yeah, but yeah, like I said, if Batman and Superman are like bright and happy, it doesn't really make much of a contrast. But Just like with Batman and Superman in the Batman vs Superman movie being both gritty and grim.
We should conduct a search right
But
didn't do well.
like it just very, I would say for me, in very unnecessary ways. Where like Batman's this sadist who basically like even though he's on his no kill thing, but even still does it, and even gets other people to do it, which feels like okay, you're going too far with this whole thing. But like I think the way that Matt Reeves is going about it is at least like what I would want it to be.
Yeah. I remember reading a Twitter thread about how the gritty versions of Batman tends to violate constitutional rights. It's like, now that I think about it, it's like so do every other character. Now I think about it.
I mean, if we're going by this route, really any sort of hero stories usually will end up going through that because, again, as the old saying goes, reality is boring.
Yeah.
Because, again, you do not want to see how the things realistically play out because they would not be so fun to watch or even good to watch. You would just be really fucking bored by it.
Or horrified.
That too, though. Like saying like how like even for doing that, well, one, he's a vigilante. It's not exactly like following the law is his thing. That's kind of why they're vigilantes.
It's like,
I mean, it's an oxymoron to have someone who's a vigilante who simultaneously always follows the law. They kind of become vigilantes for
Spider-Man,
a reason.
Iron Man, Captain America, Captain Marvel for one, the X-Men, Superman.
And again, you always
Flash.
have to keep in mind with the stories that you're watching, though, is that these people are unambiguously portrayed as being the bad guys, though. Not like, oh, they're sympathetic, though, and Batman's being too hard. It's these guys are, like, definitely criminal scum, though, that he goes after. So again, it's kind of a, can we stop the bullshit acting like these are just poor people that he's beating up because they just only want jobs? Like, dude, read the fucking story as it is, though. Oh, it's a problem with the presentation, though. Again, this is a fictional story, not trying to say that this is how things actually work.
Yeah, although art reflects life, sometimes they're just... sometimes people are just
That
reading...
can be the case, but again, you always have to keep in mind like how fantastical something is, because again, that goes into the it's not realistic territory, when it's like, yeah, so is really none of the rest of this movie.
Yeah,
Like, even the gadgets Batman uses, cool as they are, would not really be all that practical if applied in real life.
most famously,
at
the
all.
grappling hook. Let's
Like-
try that, and, well...
Like, basically that scene in The Dark Knight where Batman just flips Joker off of him to fall down a building and uses the grappling hook to bring him back, but surprisingly doesn't, like, go through his fucking foot. It's like, yeah, you just gotta take things, at least suspend your disbelief.
There's this Spider-Man tried to pull a similar moment, most famously with Gwen Stacy in the comics.
Very well.
She died
Of what
from whiplash.
exactly?
So in the comics and in the second
Oh,
Amazing,
now I know what you're saying. Yeah, now I know.
yeah, Gwen Stacy died from whiplash.
So again, it's always that sort of thing because again, like you always have to keep with this stuff in mind though. And again, always keep in mind like there's a reason why this is fantasy and not reality, because the reality way of solving these things is incredibly boring and dull, and not the sort of thing you want to watch a movie over.
Or like someone's like I think MoviePod talk about how problematic Halo is because you're the humans going up against a multiracial society. The Covenant was like, there's a lot wrong with that sentence. First of all, the elites and
Multiracial, yes, but these races don't get along though. Like even within the games, the races are shown to be constantly pissed at each other. The brutes and the elites were actually so bad in relation, they were never even on the same ships.
and the elites sided with the humans.
That too.
That's what I'm trying to point out. It's like, play the
Like
games.
even within just the games, like there's no evidence that this is some sort of like willingly aligned races though for this.
Yeah,
no, these were races that were completely pissed at each other, and they were races that were only allied together because they were thinking they were going under the same holy journey.
Find something here.
And then when the elites saw,
it's a
oh
super
no,
religious totalitarian society.
that yes,
Yeah, while the humans have their fair share of problems, that's just like What was the
Again, this is always the thing I always hate when I see discourse, when people always want to talk about some piece of art being problematic, when it's always just something that's
Yeah,
like,
I'm
dude,
almost, yeah.
could you just like not try to overanalyze and just look at what's in front of you?
Like, is what's the saying? Going for missing the trees. Going for the forest instead of the trees.
No, it's missing let's see, missing the forest for the trees, I think it's how it's said. Which is when you focus too much on the hyper details, then you end up forgetting the broader picture, which is definitely which is definitely one of the biggest problems I end up always seeing.
Yeah,
when it comes to this stuff.
I know, and we know that works in the past have wasted like have some pretty bad values, and we should be careful with them in the present.
Of course.
And then there's like let's say more recent works. It's just like
Understood.
sometimes you just had to go with it. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar.
That too. Like, I get, at least when it comes to art, of wanting to always make sure that we are promoting the right stuff, but we also have to occasionally be willing to forgive certain aspects of it. Like, for example, I still love watching the film Crazy Rich Asians, even though the level to which they are wealthy is not really what I would be supporting in real life, but I could just accept it as ultimately a rom-com that's just very sweet and genuine. Like, sure, yeah, there are the aspects of being filthy rich, but that's also a fantasy, being rich as hell and being able to not have any financial worries ever. That's a great kind of fantasy. Like, we could go into the ethics all day
someone
about...
someone tweeted about Gary Gygax's views on women.
10
It's like
seconds remain. The ring is closed.
like several from like over a decade ago, before he died. Gary Gygax, creator of Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh.
It's like he had some pretty weird views on women and why they wouldn't play RPGs. Oh, that's rightly been condemned as being sexist.
It's always unfortunate because, again, nobody's perfect, and unfortunately, anyone down the line is going to probably have some really problematic things. I know people say that you shouldn't really idolize people. I'm not really sure if ever to go that
I
far.
appreciate. And also, he's been dead for 12 years. If you're trying to cancel someone, they're trying to cancel because they're dead. I just trying to make a dark joke out of it. Sorry.
Like, I get, again, what the sentiment is going for, because, yeah, I very much believe in trying to make sure that we are keeping ourselves honest in things, but also for that, though, because, again, because I believe this guy, he was pretty old, though, so he probably ended up having a lot of outdated views, though. When it comes to older people, they're bound to have some sort of outdated views that they still cling to. Unfortunately, it happens.
And bad habits, from what I've heard.
Yeah,
habits, got some outdated views. Is anyone surprised?
So it's always with older people, it just has that, though, because, again, I end up liking individuals even if there are specific things I don't like. Like, I still love what Kojima has as his works, and also, even as a person, he seems to also be pretty cool about it, but he still has his own issues, such as the micromanaging, and also that he has quite the ego, although, unfortunately... It's also the case, though, that when you've done as much as him, I think it's more or less impossible to not really have an ego of yourself.
Yeah, so the ego is a lot more understandable. Kind of wish that he would also get credit to other people. So anyway,
speaking of always that.
Oh, speaking of Dungeons and Dragons, there's going to be an upcoming book called so what's it called? Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. So I'm looking at it right now. So. Here's what it does, according to the list, according to the thing by Wizards of the Coast. Expanded subclasses from, so new subclasses that originally were in, Unearthed Arcana, and we're going to reprint a couple of a couple of them from other books, as well as the Artificer class, along with the alternative class features from Unearthed Arcana, with and new feats, and to customize the character's origin. Basically tweak their racial abilities and ability boosts.
Yeah.
So along with rule options, spells, artifacts, and tattoos, magic tattoos. And the generic
Just
version.
know, sorry to quickly intrude, but the headset, apparently the batteries are low and I have to recharge, so if I stop talking, it just means that my batteries died.
Okay, so should I give you a bit?
No, it's fine though. Like, we'll just go for the stream, and I guess we'll just end it when these things die, because this thing, even on low battery, can go a good minute.
All right, that's good.
Yeah.
Just have to point out some good news about Dungeons and Dragons. It'll be out. The book will be is available for pre-order, and it'll be out on November 17th.
Understood. That's mine.
So yeah, that's just always stuff like that, and yeah, it's just always a lot of thoughts I have with these things. It's just again, it goes with this thing where, like, again, I don't really like saying for just people to enjoy things, but even still, I just wish that people would not be so stupid when disliking things too.
Oh, I'm getting shot at. Okay, so
Yeah, I saw someone over here. Oh, oh yeah, and I see there's a whole bunch of guys over there.
ow, bad spot to be in.
Oh,
Ow, ow. So anyway, check out the stuff from DC Fandom. I always forget.
yeah, it is fandom that you said. I'm really looking forward to James Gunn's Suicide
I
Squad
know,
the most,
I know, like,
think. It looks so good.
Hold on.
Yeah, and there's like a bunch of new characters, like Peter Capaldi as the Thinker, Dr. Who, so that's the third thing that...
Polka Dot Man as well, also seeing I don't remember what Idris Elba's character's name is, because I just suck with names in general, but it's
same.
like, damn, he really went obscure for this. Like, he wasn't just pulling in all the names people were expecting.
Polka Dot
Instead,
Man.
like he was like pulling out all the obscure shit. So, he got it from a very specific issue in the series. So I'm like, wow, like this guy really knows his stuff, and he's gonna want to do it.
Yeah, I kind of think not all of them are going to survive. Harley Quinn's
yeah,
most likely
that
to
too.
survive.
You made an attempt on my life. Brave, perhaps, but ill-conceived. Enemy spotted.
So yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing that one as well. I mean, of course, Wonder Woman 84 still is looking really awesome, and I can't wait to see that in October. And yeah, just in general, it's just I'm really looking forward to seeing what I really am looking forward to all the new movies, and especially seeing Dwayne Johnson become Black Adam.
There's a teaser for it, right? I kind of missed it.
I missed the teaser as well, but even still, I've been really psyched for it, and I'm glad they casted The Rock because I felt like he could really do the role awesomely.
I know. And with the games, like, there's going to be a bit of a, so there are two upcoming games that caught my attention. One is Suicide Squad. We've talked about this in the previous, in the previous stream.
Batman Gotham Knights. That, of the two games, that is the one I'm most looking forward to, mainly because of the co-op aspect, which has people worried. I'm really excited for that. The idea that I could play with, like, you or some other friends, and we could just basically play any of the given characters, I'm like, that sounds really freaking cool. I want to do that.
Yeah, it's also set in a different continuity from their Arkhamverse, unlike the Suicide Squad game.
I just wish they marketed that better, because when I saw the trailer and him specifically saying, like, when you get this video, I'm already dead. So I'm like, oh, okay, so this is like the sequel to Arkham Knight, where, like, everyone thought that he died, though, but maybe not really. And then they just went with that, when I'm like, I wish they just marketed that much better.
If you can't keep up, you're straight
Wait, it wasn't in the same continuity?
No, it's not in the same continuity as the Arkhamverse, which is why I said that I wish that they marketed it better to where they ended up not giving people that impression, because, like, I got my hopes up for it and then was like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it's just like they really, like
and
I said,
it is looking like the characters in the game are going to be very distinct from each other with very specific play styles. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah,
I think I will be maining either Red Hood or Nightwing. One of those two I know I'll be maining.
Yes. Yeah, so when I noticed that Red Hood looks different compared to his Arkham Knight counterpart, I was like, wait a minute, something's up.
He has a more comic-accurate version of the helmet, though, which I really appreciated.
Makes me think of his looks in Injustice 2.
Under the Red Hood.
Yeah, and Injustice 2.
Yeah, that one too.
And I'm pretty sure that's what they based his Injustice 2 version on.
So yeah, really looking forward to seeing how that ends up playing out. But I also think I really want to try out Batgirl with her hacking abilities, because especially in infiltration missions, like if in Arkham Knight, her hacking abilities were really amazing and something that you always actively wanted to use, I also want to go see that for this game. And so really looking forward to it, seeing the story, because this game has been teased for what feels like forever. And I just really want to see what Warner Brothers Montreal ends up having to show for it. The Suicide Squad game. Oh, sorry.
And a little teaser thing with quarter owls. Pretty interesting.
Yeah. That's what I mean by saying the game that had been advertised what feels like forever, because I think like one of the lead writers was like constantly like alluding to this, and he even sometimes deleted tweets because of people catching on with it, and so being this thing that we have more or less known for years but never saw with.
Yes.
So looking forward to that, and then there's the other game, which is Rocksteady's Suicide Squad game, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League.
Yeah.
So that was one I wasn't as much excited for, even though with Rocksteady. From there, mainly just because it's doing like the whole Superman's got bad and we gotta go like basically take him down thing, which is like
it looks like he's been mind controlled, but otherwise
we should conduct a
I'm also
search
thinking,
right
there's SOL.
So like I'm just hoping that is what's the case though, but even still, it's kind of just because I don't really like seeing evil Superman nearly as much as I used to when I was younger. Mainly just because I feel like it's more or less been something a lot of writers just want to keep doing. Because for them, just portraying Superman in his most honest version is like this really big challenge for them.
I'm honestly surprised that Superman by himself is in an Arkhamverse game. That's a bit of a surprise.
I mean, I knew that he was because characters in Arkham Knight explicitly reference him as yours. So I always thought that more they just didn't want to basically have the Arkhamverse sort of have a bunch of these like things happening. So they just wanted to be like, yeah, they exist. They're just not really occurring within this thing happening.
Okay, now I remember. I haven't played the game so much and haven't played it in a while. So.
But it's just that I can't really find myself buying the Suicide Squad game, mainly because of how Rocksteady was handling the sexual abuse allegations.
Oh shit! Really? Fuck.
Yeah, they did not handle it very well. Mainly because it seems like they were just tiptoeing around it, and surprisingly, it was barely a blip on anyone's radar. Surprisingly, so like it feels like that case where I just would be feeling more guilty of buying it though, rather than just doing what I feel is the right thing with it. So it's always that kind of thing with it too.
I forgotten about it. Fuck.
That's some champion, huh?
Yeah, so that's why it was there though, because then one of the female employees basically let that in, and even though it is an industry-wide problem, it's still something that with Rocksteady is something that I have to hold them accountable on this thing. Even though I don't think what I'll do is do much, because I'm sure that Suicide Squad game is going to sell really well, though. Like, again, even when that occurred, I barely saw a blip on anyone's radars, even from the official channels that I occasionally follow, where they were not even talking about it, which is weird, because I still remember when Rockstar, with their infamous 100 hours during Red Dead Redemption 2,
I remember
like
that
the stuff with Naughty Dog in the production of The Last of Us 2, and like I remember seeing on that on my feed for like at least 3 months straight.
So why did they look the other way with Rocksteady?
Again, that's always what puzzles me too, because it's not even like they have a better track record with games. Like, Naughty Dog doesn't really have a widely reviled game in their thing. No, The Last of Us 2 was not widely reviled. It was liked. Maybe at worst it wasn't liked as much as The Last of Us 1, but it was still a widely beloved game. Again, never take people thinking that just because they didn't like something as much as a previous entry, meaning that they just didn't like it. It's the same shit with Fallout 4.
You kind of cut off, so I'll give you a bit.
How about this way?
Alright, let's go. Yeah.
Very well. Foozles for the foozles. Yeah, I said it.
Yeah, sorry, people. Shadowhawk warned us about the battery thing, so we'll give it a bit. Oh shit. Alright, he knows. I just sent him a message. Yeah.
Attention. There is a new kill leader.
Uh-oh.
New kill leader. I must confess. that's
Okay,
what I
so
long
gotta
for.
invite the party again. Uh-oh. Alright, so we're connecting. We seem to have a bit of a problem with the
Enemy spotted. It looks small.
Yes.
hang on a sec, I gotta invite him. So invite to party. There. We seem to have a bit of a problem here, so give us bits.
Firing.
Watch it.
Bam, 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 bam.
Round 2.
I have a subject in view. Far off.
Down.
Opening fire.
Rings not close. Hustle up.
And touch this.
Attention. Delivery replicator.
There's a replicator coming in.
Heads up, got one here.
Yes.
Okay. Kind of weird, but oh. Wow, I missed all that. Wow. Ow.
Enemy spotted.
Found a target. I'm down. Need a medic.
I have a subject. They're reviving their weak.
Oh. Sorry, we seem to have some sort of problem with the thing. Alright, I'm gonna try another invite.
45 seconds. Ring's a little far.
I could use some help.
Relax. You got everything under control.
Ah, dang it.
I appreciate your assistance. Recharging machine.
Target's right in front of me.
Administering medical aid.
Hey, you, my friend, are very welcome.
Gas trap. Subject down. Placing gas trap. Taking out a gas trap. Down.
Okay, so we should give him a bit of a 15-minute charge, and
Alright, enemy down.
yeah, oof. Alrighty, so I have to work something out, so give me a bit. Is something up with my connection? I swear. Oh yeah, connection looks fine. Nope. This never happens before. Man, the last one with Soul Calibur and the Xbox team, I've seen that be having some bad luck. Oh, that's not it. Hey, I think the stream went poof again, so let's try rebooting it. Yeah, I'll reboot the stream real quick. Yeah, I'll reboot the stream and my computer just real quick, so I'll be with you, and I'll be right back with you.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I stopped talking because my mic cut off because it died out. Gave it a few minutes to charge, and it looks like it's on good enough battery that I should last the stream.
Yeah, so what were we talking about? Suicide Squad?
No, it was actually after that. It was just mainly last thing we brought up was the Suicide Squad game.
Yep.
For that, and specifically the Rockstar sexual assault allegations.
Yeah.
Just mainly from that. I was saying, like, last thing I remember was saying that, yeah, it puzzled me too, though, mainly because, like, you know, usually when that was in, it would always be pretty big news for any given studio, but this specific one, for whatever reason, wasn't really, wasn't having that much traction. Like, even when the news broke, the people who I follow who regularly report on gaming news were barely even reporting it, and that was when it was fresh. Now, like, it's like no one's even talking about it.
It's like with CDPR and the excessive crunch culture.
Don't be
The
fooled.
funny thing is that story I remember still being told throughout the years, but in this case, but for some reason, despite that being a story said throughout the years, again, Rocksteady pretty much just went out though, and it was like nothing really happened. Again, even when it happened, it was barely a blip on the radar, and then it was quickly forgotten. So that's why, even though I'm still gonna stick with not buying it, I already know that the game's still gonna sell well, because again, if no one was reporting on it when it was fresh, it's gonna probably be completely forgotten about by the time the game comes out 2 years from now.
Why did not a lot of people talk about it aside from us?
I know, that's definitely something I always question a lot myself.
Dropping in, hang on.
Yeah, and I had to admit, I kind of forgot about it myself. I really am sorry about that. I was like,
No, it's fine, because again, we can't remember everything that's happened though. But yeah, it was just definitely something. That's why, like, I wasn't gonna really be willing to buy it, because at least for me, it would just feel kind of negligent for it. Because again, also one of my principles when it comes to doing things is also not doing good things when it's at convenience. So in the case of this, not just not buying a game because it was one that I probably wasn't caring for anyway, it also will include not buying games that are where the circumstances around them were something that were under conditions I very much don't support.
Right. That sucks. That really sucks.
I mean, I am genuinely interested to see how the game actually ends up turning out, because it looks like it's going to be a shooter brawler kind of experience, but
Halo,
I'll
Overwatch?
probably maybe. So that's why for me, I'm just going to buy it more of like way down the line, like maybe after a year or so, where at that point the money that they make from it is really too little for them to actively consider at that point.
Right. Yeah,
So I think it won't
also
even really so much be a not buying it, in so much as for me it'll be more of a buying it when the value has decreased so significantly that they're not really focusing on individual purchases.
I also have a bit of a somewhat similar thing with Cyberpunk. Not sure if I will buy it a year or two from now, if at all.
Or like you can even buy it from like a third-party retail, like buy it from someone off eBay and do it that way. That way you can make sure that no one gets the money, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, even with Witcher 3, because the way you say you did it with your brother, where you said you got it, like, what, off the internet?
I actually just bought it directly from Xbox, like, years ago, before I was aware of their practices.
Well, by that point, yeah, it had basically decreased considerably in value to the point where that was probably not something that was really mattering to them. Though, sure, yeah, like you're still actively considering the money being given. But it's just for me, I'm not going to buy it at the time that really is the only important time, and that is within the first 3 months. Like for me, after it gets close to that year mark, then is when I'll go and buy it, because by that point, the sales really don't matter to them much anymore.
Yeah.
It's just that in the case of CD Projekt Red Cyberpunk, I just was not really interested, and the marketing just did more to make me go, yeah, I don't think I want to go and play this.
What about
the more I
marketing?
saw it.
I haven't paid attention.
Mainly their Twitter antics, though, where it seems like they just keep screwing the pooch when they try talking.
I remember. It's. But it's just that when suddenly the news hit me, it's like, damn.
Yeah. So it's just that mainly there, because honestly, it's just that Cyberpunk, at least to me, doesn't really seem to be offering much of anything.
Aside
it
from
looks like it's going
customizing
into...
your character, but having your character's voice be associated with Dome, when not everybody is able to sound fully masculine or feminine. If I get it right,
Yeah, of course. Yeah, feminine.
Do I get that right from the character creation details? That's what I'm more worried about.
I wasn't sure because I'll have to re-look them up, but yeah, it's just that from there, like I do applaud that they also were that they included that they ended up including non-binary as well as also transgender gender options though, because at least it's more of something that you can just do right from the start as opposed to them being exist from there. So I appreciate the effort, and I do believe that its leadership and the devs are trying to at least be socially progressive in aspects. I just think they're really stumbling in others.
Yeah, I honestly think that Bioware can do it better. I mean, and they did, if I remember right. It's just.
So yeah, it's just there. Like
Yeah,
Bioware
at least in regards to sexuality. But anyway,
yeah.
and speaking of LGBTQ representation, we got a trailer for the new Call of Duty game, Black Ops Cold War.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which has Ronald
It's
Reagan
coming
in
out
it.
this year.
Yeah. Here's the funny and weird thing about it. You can customize who your character is. They're silent. You have 3 options. Male, female, and I shit you not, classified. It's set in the 80s. It's set in the 80s, so I'm not sure. I was like, classified?
I'm guessing, yeah, that's kind of weird though. So I'm guessing that's probably like either something that involves either being trans or non-binary, or maybe the third option is you can do either or. like-
That's just like it might be. I don't know if it's appropriate for the time period or it's just, huh?
Yeah, interesting choice there. So it's like, okay, that's unorthodox. So I'm kind of curious to
This
see how that
experiment will sort
goes.
out the capable from the incompetent.
Like, do you customize the character's look, or I can play, or I can play as an ancestor, like Bloodhound's ancestor, because someone just chose Bloodhound. I was actually just thinking of that when I first saw it.
So yeah, like Black Ops Cold War looks as if something that's kind of interesting. I mean, because as far as like the previous 4 of them, I really liked the first 2,
Introducing your
was kind of
champion.
ambivalent for 3, and didn't really care for 4. So for me, I would say Black Ops Cold War. I'm kind of just someone who will be. I'll just probably wait and see how the whole thing is,
Yeah.
and then I'll make my decision later.
Yeah, I
Because
have.
overall,
I suggest we do
Oh,
something.
go ahead.
I don't have much interest in buying games by Activision Blizzard because they have because Tencent has a 5%. Tencent, a Chinese company, which
go. Ready up.
the Chinese government has a hold of, has a 5% stake in Activision Blizzard. They were the ones that Blizzard is the one that did not that had their little thing with
The Chinese government.
yeah, the Chinese government and banning a player from Hong Kong for expressing his views about his town, his city.
Yeah.
And the teaser, which with the interview from KHB of Agent Yuri, very timely, but Nicandros pointing out that the guy is a hell of a reactionary and very right wing, which not only is a bit of a disappointment, but also somehow a relief at the same time. So KHB. Okay, KHB.
Yeah.
Attention.
I am now good with the names and acronyms, by the way.
First blood.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, so it starts with a teaser, which is very timely.
Yeah, no, it showed Tiananmen Square, and then it was quickly taken down, though, especially in China first, but I guess then Activision took it down, like, internationally, too.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. And still, what really transfixed me is the classified option.
Yeah, so I'm guessing that probably means it is probably some either transsexual or
Transgender,
non-binary.
non-binary, or
I
so
think if
secretive.
it is just a third one, it will probably just be non-binary.
That's just. I'm sorry to repeat it, but this is this is one of the most bizarre. Not sure if it's the right way to do it. It's just. I'm not sure what to think.
But again, I'll kind of just go with, like, you know what, even if you stumble, I'll at least take this as at least one step to knowing how to do these things better.
Yeah, it helps that the character's not voiced, and I don't know how your character will be customized, or if your character could be appearance could be customized, like in Call of Duty Black Ops 2. No, Black Ops 3.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm.
After this match, I probably have to get off, though, because I actually am getting really tired. I don't know what it is. Like, I haven't even taken my meds yet.
Yeah. So anyway, what was the third? Oh yeah, the
ring isn't very far. 45
oh, the
seconds
Adventures
remain
game.
before closure.
There's a launch trailer for the Adventures game. That'll be oh, that shows the Hulkbuster. Neat. I'm thinking about pre-ordering it too.
Can you describe what it is this game actually is? Because aside from existing and vaguely remembering some of the story details, I don't really know what the game
It's basically
is.
a co-op brawler RPG like game where you play as characters like Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, Black Widow, and Kamala Khan as Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel will actually have the spotlight as the protagonist of the game.
The ring's close.
Okay. So
And
it's an action brawler RPG game, then.
Yes.
Warning.
So then what was the deal with the beta, then? Is this like a primarily multiplayer-focused game? Or
Yeah,
like,
primarily.
what's the
Yeah,
deal?
multiplayer focused. Yeah. And unlike Overwatch, there's actually a story, and just like with Apex Legends in this season, with the little comic things.
Well, Overwatch has a story, but their story is more so told through their animated film, their animated videos, and the comics. Whereas this, the Avengers game is having it done through the game itself.
and so is Apex Legends. Sort of, now through multiple means, through this game and
I actually like the way how Overwatch really does it, though, because for me it feels hyper unique.
yeah. So the story in Overwatch is unique, you say?
No, I really like how Overwatch does their story with it, because I like learning these characters through their more individual moments, because I feel as if the way that Overwatch the game is set up is that it's much better to learn the story details through means that you want to find yourself, or at least I feel the game encourages that. And then that's how I get to learn through those, like seeing the animated videos they do on their official page, whether it's those or even looking up the comics and the few times they actually make comics and things like that makes it very interesting to really read up with. And I really like looking through that, because I do love the lore and a lot of the stuff in Overwatch, though, from there. I just haven't played in a while because I just I kind of just lost my fun in it, basically.
Yeah, same. Yeah, same. There's just not much to Overwatch nowadays. I'm sorry to say.
There really is. It's just more for me that it's just because I played it so much back then, and it's just that I don't really have friends to play with, though. Like, the people I used to play with have moved on to other games or don't even play Xbox much anymore. So it's kind of just me.
If it kind of helps, my brother and I also have Overwatch, so I used to play a lot more than he does. My brother's not really into the PvP stuff.
Understood. Alright, we'll have to let it go here, because I actually am getting really tired, and I'm gonna, like, pass out in the next few minutes.
Yeah, okay, so, hopefully,
sorry for the shorter stream, I will say...
And sorry for the little technical hiccup.
One soon.
It's this one, and the last episode was so caliber that seems to have just had some bad luck lately. I don't know why.
Definitely. Alright then, well, talk to you guys later, and again, we'll definitely I'll make sure that my headset is charged, and that we have a much longer stream next time, and maybe do it a bit earlier as well, so that way I don't end up getting too tired.
Yeah, I'm sorry for having this late, so anyway.
Yeah, it's good.
So I would like everyone to have a good night, and we'll be rating Anchor 654.
Alright, so talk to you guys later.
Talk to ya. Right. See ya. Have a good night.